Hi guys, it's Shalimar. How's everyone doing? Good, good, good. I hope I have a little bit of mojo back today, so the first thing I want to do is do a video. Today I'm doing 10 iris perfumes. So, let's get a few things straight before I start telling you about the perfumes. Whenever you see iris listed in a perfume note, it's never the flower. It's always the root. I have said this before. The flower is never distilled. I don't think it even has a smell, or maybe it smells but they just can't extract the smell. So, the perfumers in the world always use the root of the plant, and as ugly as it looks, it produces such an amazing smell in perfume, which is really versatile. Sometimes it can be, well, obviously it's earthy, it's a root. Sometimes it can go towards leather. Sometimes it smells like lipstick, makeup, because Iris was used to scent lipstick way back in the day. It can be, did I say leathery? Yeah, leathery, suedey, it can be powdery, so you never kind of really know what you're going to get when you smell an iris. I'm going to say iris for the purposes of the video, but I'm referencing Oris. So, depending on what it's put with, it can go in many directions, and I've put together a list of 10 perfumes that feature it quite prominently and that are very, very varied. So, without further ado, here's my list. So the first one on the list is called Citizen Queen, and it's by a company called Juliette Has a Gun. I remember when I first smelled this, it was an instant love. I went to a shop called Roulier White in Dulwich in southwest London and smelled a few of the line. This line actually favours roses more than anything else, but this one stood out as being different. This one is a powdery iris perfume. There is added powder notes to it, not just the iris here. It's very soft, you know, super soft. There's roses in here as well, and a lot of musk. This is my comforting perfume. I wear this one to bed. It smells kind of like verging on baby powder, but just that little bit more edginess from the iris. It's got a touch leatheriness. It's like the softest suedey leather type smell you can imagine. There's loads of powder thrown on top and white musk and a couple of roses just for good measure, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's my favourite perfume from this brand, which is why I own it. So, on to the next. The next one is called Yesterday Haze, and it's by Imaginary Authors. I wanted to put this one on the list because this one's an iris with a twist. This perfume is about a housewife, I think, that lives on a farm with her husband, like an orchard, I think it is, and she has an affair with one of the staff, and it's her decision to kind of come clean and tell him. It's about memories from the past, but this one is really autumnal. In this one, the iris is paired together with tonka, fig, cream and walnut. So this to me is like autumn in a bottle. This is an iris for the fall. I'm going to stop doing silly accents today. Like, is that going to be the thing today? Oh, I need to stop. But I love this. It opens super nutty. I get this blast of walnut from it, and then kind of straight after you get this super creamy fig tonka thing with the iris giving a powder. It's really, really nice. It feels kind of warm brown tones, and it's really cozy and comforting, and I wanted to put it on there as kind of the gourmand iris perfume of the list. So yeah, that one. Yesterday Haze by Imaginary Authors. The next one on the list is one that I smelled last year, and I would love to own this one, but I don't. It's called La Tasse, and it's by Masque Milano. Oh, this is one of the nicest iris perfumes I think I've smelled. This one's about an evening of jazz with champagne flowing and an open window and flowers wafting in on the wind. And this one at first kind of was quite leathery. There's an added leather accord to this one. But then when it opened up and got into its stride, it was so effervescent and bright and super, super pretty. It's an iris that is on the powdery side, but with an effervescence. It's not a baby powder, it's a bright, open, powdery iris, which is beautiful, and it transitions really well and goes through quite a few stages. So I need to revisit that one, but it's on the list because it sticks in my memory of when I tried it. I said, oh my gosh, this one of all the Iris perfumes I've tried, this one really sticks out and it's gorgeous. So try that one out. Masque Milano L'attesa, which means awaiting or on hold or waiting for something, expecting, I think that's what it means. Something like that. The next one on the list is called Fonda Monde and it's by Etat, Libre. This one has a really cool concept. Fonda Monde means the end of the world, but this is the end of the world watching it in a cinema, watching a film about the end of the world, or watching it in a cinematic type setting. So there's a lot of iris in this one. It's the main note of this perfume, and it's also got gunpowder because of explosions, and it's also got popcorn, which I think is really cute, really funny. But this one feels very cold. The iris in here, or the orris, like I said, I'm always referencing the root, but I'm saying it just for review purposes. The iris in this one is cold and sharp and kind of biting, and when you smell it, it hits you really hard. It's not a dense, earthy type one. The way it's positioned in the perfume with colder notes, it's different from all of the others. It's a much sharper feeling. It's much more pronounced, and it's a really cool perfume. It's not one that I wear often, or it's not my favourite from the brand, but it's a good representation of a cool concept, putting iris with popcorn and a gunpowder type feeling. So that one's kind of cool, so check it out. Don't hate me for the next one, but it has to go on this list. It's Shalimar Initial Eau de Parfum by Gillan. Another one which is up there as one of the best iris perfumes for me ever. The first time I smelled this, I actually didn't like it. When I tried it in the shop, I thought, oh, this is not nice. Because I think maybe I was championing the original Shalimar too much, that nothing's going to come close to that. But I mean, the proof's in the pudding. This is a huge favourite. It is discontinued now, but if you can find it, definitely try it. This one I'm going to spray on this hand actually, because it's beautiful. I have a backup of this. That's how much I love this one. And mine's getting low because I decanted some out for my mum. She deserves it, it's fine. This one is a leathery iris. There's vanilla in here as well. There are some flowers. I think there's sandalwood in here as well. This is Guerlain. This is Guerlain's just iris extravaganza. I know they have iris ganache, which I've never tried, but this one for me is absolutely stunning. Classy, elegant, gets attention, and that's not why I wear it, but it does get attention. It's touching on smelling vintage, but not. It kind of treads the line of being modern and vintage at the same time, and it's somewhere between leathery and powdery iris, with lots of other stuff going on as well. Just really beautiful, and there's so many fingerprints on my bottle. I'm gonna have to clean it. The next one is another recent addition to my collection. It's called Sappho, and it's by Lush. Also getting talked about quite a lot. They've released 5 Florence exclusive perfumes into the world now, so you can get them in their bigger shops and on their website, I think. This is one of my favourite Lush perfumes ever. Oh gosh, this is leathery iris again, but in this one they pair it with tobacco and sandalwood, and I think some vanilla, I'm not sure, but this one feels animalic. There's tonka as well. No, it's not vanilla, it's tonka. So this one to me goes down the vintage route. It feels really vintage, it feels earthy, leathery. It's a dark iris perfume, this one, and I don't know where it comes from, but I feel an animalic undertone, and that's why I think it smells vintage, because animalic things just kind of take me there sometimes with a vintage. This is great. I've never seen Lush use a perfume with iris like this, or I think at all. It's not something they use in their perfumes, I don't think, ever. I could be wrong, but anyway, Sappho is great if you like things a bit darker and dirtier and you like iris at the same time. So try that one out too. The next one's a real beautiful one. It's not one that I own, but it's by a lovely English company called Parterre, and the perfume is called The Hour of Dusk and Gold, which is such a beautiful name for a perfume. The owners of the company, lovely couple who I met, went to Morocco and watched a very spectacular sunset, which just stuck with them. So they wanted to create a perfume that reminded them of that. This one has a lot of iris or orris root in it. But it also has a lot of ingredients that they grow and distill on their farm in Dorset. So it has carrot seeds, it has angelica root in there, there's some spices because it's themed on Morocco. I really liked this one. This is unusual because it has a lot of aromatic qualities to it, and I don't really see aromatics and iris together. That's why I wanted to put it on the list, because it sticks out. I like to try and tell you guys about things that are just not of the norm. So the Hour of Dusk and Gold by Parterre is beautiful, spicy, earthy orris with aromatic notes and just a kind of twist of exoticness. It kind of feels a bit masculine at the beginning, but it's not after a while. It's kind of green sometimes as well. It's cool. Test it out if you can. They sell it in big department stores, I think, so have a look. The next one on the list is one I've thought about reviewing. Excuse me. I've thought about reviewing this one, but to me there's not much about it. The reason it's on the list is because this one, to me, I'm labelling it as the millennial iris. So it's Glossier, and it's a perfume called You. Glossier are an internet makeup company who have exploded. I don't really know much about them, but I know they have a perfume, so I wanted to get my nose on it. And someone gave me a sample, so I have tried it out. This is I'm calling it the millennial iris because the millennials are not really with the perfume. I think we all know that. I've learnt that in my job. The millennials are just not super into perfume, so they like things a bit more simple and laid back. And Glossier's perfume, to me, is an iris perfume, but it's a cold, simple iris with a lot of musk, and it feels molecule-y. It feels like if you've ever tried anything by Molecule, it's kind of transparent and simple and not in your face. It's definitely the least complicated one on this list, but if you're a millennial and you're watching this and you're not really into perfume, they say that this perfume smells like you, but better. And I know the reason they say that. It's because it has a molecule in it. So it's not an ISO-y super molecule, but it's some kind of transparent, volumizing molecule that smells clean. But there's iris in it too, so that's why it's on the list. The second to last one is by a fairly new brand, and they're from Scotland. They're called Jorum Studio. You have to give the small brands love, guys. I'm going to do a spotlight on these guys eventually. I do have the other fragrances by them, so I want to give them a bit of attention. But this is called Trimerous, and I'm putting it on this hand. I let this one dry down today. This one is interesting because the mix here, this is an iris perfume at first. It's quite a strong one as well. It feels lovely, earthy, leathery. This isn't a powdery one by any means. And the other notes in here, you have carrot seeds and you have incense. There's nectarine, pepper, angelica, I think even a soil note. So this one at first it feels like it's going to be, oh, this is a really pleasant, simple iris, and then it changes. This goes to the darker side. There's a touch smokiness in this one. It's very earthy. It feels a little bit, it's one of those ones that reveals a dark secret, and I like fragrances that contain a surprise in them. So when I first tried it, I thought, oh, okay, this is a cool iris one, and then something happened somewhere along the line and it just became sharper and darker and a little bit smokier and worth trying out. I can't wait to try the rest of their line to see what they're like, but I wanted to give them a little mention and put them on this list as a small brand from Scotland that has a really cool iris perfume. So on to the last one. And the last one on the list. This list would not be complete without a zoologist. It's Dragonfly. I'm a big fan of Dragonfly. It's about the insect flitting around the pond. This fragrance is lovely. It has things like lotus and raindrops, so they say. It's a really nice light purple liquid, but the main note is iris, and the thing to note about this one that makes it very zoologist-y and a bit strange is that it has a rice note. So it has this kind of starchy earthiness at first, which is really cool. So you've got the earthiness of iris and you've got rice with kind of petally type feeling, slightly aquatic, but then when it dries it's this beautiful powdery, pretty iridescent iris perfume, and it's really lovely, just gorgeous. As usual with Zoologist, you know I'm a fan, I can't help it. So yeah, that is my list of my 10 Iris/Oris perfumes. I know it's a favourite note of a lot of people. Yeah, that's my list. I hope you guys are having a great day, staying safe, staying sane, and taking care of each other. I'll see you guys soon for another review. I'm Ouch Milano, trying to make the world smell better, one video at a time.